Welcome to the Cash Flow Couple Podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Wendy Williams. How you doing? In the basement with my husband, John Williams.
Ready to go. Ready to talk about it.
All right, let's do this. So we got some exciting goings on here in the business.
That's right. And you're about to leave for your conference.
That's right. I'm getting on an airplane to Tampa tomorrow. I'm so excited. I get to see one of our mentors. So, which is what we're going to be talking about today. The who, what, when, why, how of mentorship. And I have a great quote.
Oh, okay.
It's from Oprah.
Oh, hit me up.
She says, a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself.
That's good.
That is really good, isn't it?
Yeah. And since you mentioned Oprah, that's one of the things that I find interesting about mentorship is even somebody like Oprah has a mentor, right? And she pays them like a lot of money to be her mentor. And you're thinking, why does Oprah need a mentor?
That's exactly what I was thinking, yes.
So that's one of those things, everybody can benefit from a mentor. And, I was listening actually to one of our mentors earlier in the week, and he was talking about this concept, and it was something I hadn't thought about. But, even somebody like a Michael Jackson, or, rest in peace. But even somebody like a Michael Jackson had a voice coach. And so you think about him being like, the king of pop, the pinnacle of, that sort of thing. But even a guy like that has somebody who coaches him on how to be better. And so does Oprah, and so do a lot of successful people.
I think so. I would agree with that, and I understand why they would have mentors. It's not just to help you grow, but I think that mentors provide a lot of motivation for you as well.
Yeah, I think they can. I
think ours do. They're kind of like our cheerleaders, really. I mean, they give us hope and say, "Hey, I know that you can do this. You have it inside yourself. Now go out and freaking do it."
Right. Like sometimes they're on your ass.
Right.
Like, I know you can do more. I know you can be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the discipline that we need, I think, is what we get out of our mentors as well, is the discipline to stay focused and go out and do it.
Right. And knowledge too. But you're right. It's not so much that, you can learn a lot just by reading or YouTube or whatever, but it's that interaction. It's almost like there's some accountability in there as well.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Accountability is a great word for it. Let's talk about how to find a mentor.
Okay. So I think one of the best ways to find a mentor, especially if you're looking for someone local to you, is to simply find somebody that is where you want to be next. So I would say, you're going to have different mentors in your life. So as you find somebody that, back to my original analogy of a chapter ahead, find that person that's a chapter ahead. And the best way, I think, to go kind of find these people, in other words, what you don't want to do is message them on Facebook and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a mentor."
Right.
Right. Or, "Can you help me? Can you be my mentor?" type thing. Because folks like that, they're going to get a lot of messages along the same line, and it's almost kind of rude. They have time, it's almost like saying their time's not important. So rather than doing it that way, what I would suggest is ask them how you can help them. What can I do for you today? Do you have something you need done today that I can help you with? Right. And then go complete whatever task that is. And keep showing up as someone who's providing value to them. And then, if you do that enough, then when you have a question, they're more likely to give you set time, give you their attention, right?
Right.
And I think that's a good approach.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And it could be somebody that you met at a networking event.
Could be.
Somebody that you heard speak at a networking event or anywhere really, or somebody who's written an article that you really enjoyed. I mean, it could just be somebody that you respect.
Right. Yeah. I think once you get into, our business is real estate related, but kind of once you get plugged into that community, when you, at least here, that's the way it is here in Charlotte, there are a lot of meetings, right? And I know that's not true everywhere, but we're blessed here to have those people. So as you start getting to know people and shaking hands and talking with people, you kind of find out who the players are, right? Who's doing what. And then you can kind of, know who you should be approaching, because now you know who's doing what you want to do, right?
Right. Yeah. And it's important to have more than one mentor, I think.
You do? Okay.
I do. I think different mentors have different areas of expertise and different skills. Maybe some of them have the same skills that you have, which is fine, but then some of them may have skills that you would like to have or that you would like to improve upon yourself.
Right. Yeah. One of the ways we got some of the mentors that we have currently is it wasn't local folks. We do have some that way, but we actually joined a mentoring group. That's the Kingdom Real Estate that we talk about. And that's a great group because it's online and you have access to folks that maybe aren't in your market that you wouldn't have had access to otherwise. So that it's a great platform for that. So for example, we have mentors we're in North Carolina, but we have mentors in Florida, in Ohio, in Montana, right? I mean, all over. And some of those folks who are here locally too, which is nice. It's a nice crossover. But what I've found, you were talking about having different mentors, and we do. You'll find that, yes, they have kind of their own things that they're successful at. In our case, in the real estate world, but there are lots of different ways to get into real estate, right? There's buy and hold, there's wholesale, there's, some of them are agents even. But you'll find that, while they have their different areas of expertise, in talking to these different people, I see common themes, right?
That's interesting.
So you'll see them saying the same things, maybe just in different ways. And so those are the things that I really latch onto as, okay, if I've got 6 different people that are successful in 6 different areas telling me the same core, belief systems, core values, then that's something I need to definitely integrate into what I'm doing, right? And then as you figure out, what areas of real estate you particularly want to focus in as well, then you can start picking and choosing, what advice you're going to take from each of those people. So I think you have 2 layers of knowledge and experience that you can draw from.
Right. And you're not necessarily wanting to be just like them.
Right. Yeah.
You just look at what they're doing and internalize it and kind of tweak it to make it work for you.
Right.
I think is what we do. And that seems to work well for us. It's more like you are creating an identity for yourself.
Right.
You're taking what you've learned from your mentors and applying it to yourself or your business.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I look at it this way. I think a lot of people seek out a mentor because they are looking for the step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to do exactly what this person did. And it's they're almost looking for the easy button.
Yeah.
And it's not that way. That's not what mentorship is, because you can never be another person, right? Yes, there are procedural things that are going to be similar, but two personalities are never the same, right? So you almost have to be yourself and then kind of take those tools and how do they apply to what I'm good at, right? And what fits my personality.
I think I made that mistake in the very beginning. I tried to be like one of our mentors. I tried to say the same things and have that same personality, and it just didn't come across as genuine because it wasn't me. It's not my personality to be direct and hard hitting and out there. I'm more of a nurturing, personable person.
Right.
So I made that mistake in the beginning, trying to be exactly like someone else, but you really can't do that.
That's exactly correct. That's what I was trying to say. You have to take what they're teaching you and kind of what you were saying, mold it to what works for you.
Right.
Right. It doesn't mean change what they told you to do. It's
like tweak it a little bit.
Yes.
And make it work
make it yours.
Yes. To make it yours, to make it your own. Yep. And I think our mentors do a good job of giving us questions to ponder.
Yes.
And then we go off and research it and talk amongst ourselves and think about it and bounce ideas off of each other, and then we regroup and talk about what we've learned. We apply it to our business, and then we go back and say, hey, this worked really well for us. This did not work well for us. How can we adapt and change what we've learned?
Yeah. And like you were saying, I think very much related to that is a good mentor is going to help you ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go and you're going to want to know about this, and they may come back to you and say, you're asking the wrong questions.
Yes.
Right. You need to ask these set of questions. And so it's almost like having somebody outside of your head, that can look at it from a third party perspective and say, hey, you might want to consider this, or I see this in you, right? I see you being this way. Maybe, think about this question and, how maybe that can help you or change your thinking, because you can't see it because you're in it, but somebody outside of you can see it because they're not in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's interesting. You said that about changing your thinking, because a lot of our mentors talk about mindset a lot.
Yeah, and that's one of the, like, going back to those common themes, you'll find that at least in our group of mentors, mindset is like the first thing that they teach.
Right.
So it's not real estate really. We tend to give advice out that way as well. Right. If you go to, in particular, somebody here locally and say, hey, I want help with getting involved in real estate. Well, the first thing he's going to do is give you 3 or 4 books to read that have nothing to do with real estate.
I think it's actually 10.
Well, I think there's a list of 10.
Oh, there's a list of 10.
But some of those are real estate
Some
books.
of them are real estate. I see what you're saying.
My point was the first 3 aren't.
Right.
Right? And it's almost like...
why am I doing this?
Yeah, and it reminds me of the Karate Kid, right?
Oh, yeah.
With Mr.
That's
Miyagi,
good.
where he had to paint the fence and
wash on,
wax on,
wax
and wax
on,
off.
wax off.
I think there was a wash on, but yeah.
Wax on, wax off.
And it was like, why am I doing this? And then, you learn later that was just the foundation for, right?
Yes.
And so you almost have to stick with it through the stuff that you don't think you need, because that other person sees that you need to do that first, right?
That's a really good analogy. I like that.
Yeah. I like that analogy as well. Of course, I came up with it, so I like it.
Do you want people to call you Mr. Miyagi?
No. I would like to be able to catch a fly with chopsticks. That would be cool.
Start practicing.
Yeah, I think that's probably more luck than practice, to be honest with you. But
yeah. So why is it important to have a mentor? if somebody were to ask me why do I have a mentor, I would probably say that mentors help keep you grounded almost, but then they also help you expand your knowledge and show you how far you can go, that the sky's the limit almost. Does that make any sense?
It does. I see a mentor more as really a coach. So, and I would relate this back to my experience being a high performance driving instructor. Okay, so that's the title. So if you don't know, I basically go to racing events on the weekends, for lack of a better way to describe it. But you're not really racing. You're teaching people how to drive around a racetrack. Okay. And they bring their own cars. And for novices, for people that haven't done it much, or maybe it's their first time, what they do is they pair you with a quote instructor. And that's me. And so I sit in the right seat and they drive and I teach them how to do it properly. Okay. But at some point, you're really not an instructor anymore. You're really a coach. So unless it's that person's like exact first time, they've never done it before, yeah, you got to teach them some stuff. But a lot of times they know what they should be doing. They just can't quite get there. And so your job is not so much to be an instructor. It's to be more of a coach. It's more of a, here's what I see you doing. Here's, maybe try this, maybe try that. Because they're so focused on the mechanics and the driving and paying attention that they need somebody sitting there in the right seat that is only looking at them, right? And observing them from the outside and saying, here's something I see you doing here, right? Maybe try that differently the next time. And then when they hit it, you're cheering them on. I'm saying, oh man, that was great. You really hit it well that time. Right. So you almost, like you said, become a cheerleader, but you're more of a coach than it's much less knowledge transfer at some point, and it's much more, what do you want to work on? Let me help you get there. Right. Let me help you work on the skill that you're trying to develop. So for me, mentorship is much more coaching than it is instruction. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, there are elements of both. But I think that's what you were trying to get at as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. It kind of reminds me of being a teacher, especially a teacher of a foreign language. Because once you get the basic skill down, from then you're once you get the grammar and the basic sentence structure down, then you're just coaching them on pronunciation and that kind of thing, especially with younger students, because I taught middle school. They needed a lot of encouragement because they were so shy about speaking up. Because it's nerve-wracking. You don't want to be embarrassed. I mean, it's nerve-wracking and embarrassing to speak in front of the whole class, but that's what I had to do. I had to be very encouraging and let them make mistakes and just kind of tweak the pronunciation a little bit and help them with their pronunciation skills.
Right. But don't you find that interesting that your title is teacher? But your job really is teacher and coach, right? I mean, those are really two different things in my mind. You ever thought about it that way before?
What, teacher and coach are two different things? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I think of a coach, I think of like a football coach or some kind of team sport coach.
Yeah. But if you're you can be a voice coach,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what they are. It's like Michael Jackson's voice coach he doesn't have to tell Michael Jackson about the, the science of voice, right? He's just there as a coach. Take an NFL coach. Does he really have to tell the players how to play? He's not there to instruct them on how to play football. They're getting paid millions of dollars because they're very good at football, but yet they have a coach. They'll have a strength coach. They'll have a head coach. They'll have, a line coach. They have even for quarterbacks, there's a quarterback coach. For the kickers, there's a kicker coach, right? And so they're not there to tell, a guy that, can kick a 60-yard field goal how to kick field goals. They're there to coach them and encourage them and, put them on keep them on the right path.
Yes.
And so I think mentorship is very much that way. And I think a lot of people don't approach it that way. They approach it as purely instruction, especially if you're looking for one. And so what you really want to be looking for, you want somebody that's knowledgeable, but you also want somebody that has that coach mentality. They have the heart of a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
the heart of a coach, and somebody that wants to encourage you and wants to see you do well.
I think that's what I like the most about the mentoring group that we're in is the way that it's like it's like a big family, really.
It's more of a family.
And I don't feel bad asking those stupid questions. I don't feel like anybody's going to judge me or think that I'm not smart or whatever. But it's more of a communal atmosphere.
Like we're all in it together.
Yeah. Like everybody has their first day in real estate, right? So that's kind of the mentality that I feel like our mentoring family has is, everybody's been there. This is what happened on my first day in real estate. Let's just share our ideas. So I really like that. I really dig it. And
the idea of that group, which we've kind of adopted as well, is it's that whole going back to the chapter ahead thing. It's almost multi-level mentoring in a way, right? So there's not like one guy at the top that knows everything and everybody's supposed to listen to what that guy says, right? There are folks that have been brought in as experts in different topics, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that you can't then turn around to the person behind you and help them, right? And help cheer them on and give them knowledge transfer that you have, right? So I think mentoring is a great thing, but it doesn't mean that you have to be at the pinnacle of success before you can help someone else, right? That's a chapter behind or hasn't started the book.
One of our listeners says that we should rename our multi-level mentoring because it sounds like multi-level marketing.
But it's not multi-level marketing.
We got to come up with another name of multi-level mentoring.
I just say that person has maybe the wrong mindset.
Uh-oh. I'm going to hear about this.
Maybe they have a bad experience with multi-level marketing or something. Maybe so.
But we get to actually go to one of our this mentoring group. We're actually having a conference or a workshop at Ocean Isle Beach this coming weekend, where we get to go to. We actually get to meet. I believe it's. Well, I know that one of them's not going to be there, and I'm really going to miss him. But most of them are going to be there, and we're going to be doing breakout sessions and learning from them. So that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time. That's going to be a really good time.
Yep, I'm really looking forward to that. So, well, just to recap. So we talked about who you want to be your mentor, how to find them, what to say. You offer to help them. Maybe it's somebody that you met at a meetup, or somebody that you heard speak, or somebody that you see doing what you want to be doing. Go up and strike up a conversation with them. Offer to help them in some way. That's a really good way to get in with them and maybe help them out as well. And then they're more likely to mentor you. And we talked about why have a mentor. And I think that's it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yep. That's good. Well, I'm about to go hop on an airplane. I got to go get packed.
Okay. So you're not all packed already?
No,
You've been so excited about this. I thought you'd been packed weeks ago.
Well, I know exactly what I'm going to pack. I just have to actually go and do it.
Which means you know exactly what you're going to wear.
Yes.
Okay. Because I know this is important to you.
I've already got my outfits laid out.
I have my morning outfit and my evening outfit.
Yes, that's right. I have a passion for fashion.
Yes, you do.
All things fashion. That's gonna be my license plate one day.
Passion for fashion?
My passion for fashion.
Okay,
yep.
Cool.
Yep. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to listen to our podcast. If you have any questions or comments, please drop us an email at johnandwendy@thecashflowcouple.com. On our website, thecashflowcouple.com, or on Facebook at The Cashflow Couple. Thank you for joining us. Merci beaucoup. Ciao.